Today, we've got something very special for all of you into the console edition of Rust. I've got an interview with someone from D11 going over a few of the questions that you and I have been wondering for so long. So I'll let this person introduce themselves. Say hi.
Hey guys, it's Pedro here. I'm the community manager for Rust Console Edition. If you ever interacted with like us on Twitter or you're part of our Discord, you probably know who I am. So yeah, I'm here today with chat a little bit with Serial Overdrive and go through some questions that I'm sure you're all keen to get answers for. So go to it.
All right, yeah, thank you so much for doing this. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, it just shows how much you guys all put into sort of the community, everything like that. I know sometimes I'm harsh, sometimes I'm not, but I do appreciate this. And overall, I think you guys have done a great job. So let's start off with a question that's probably on everybody's mind. What's going on with the community servers? Is there any word on just how different they'll be from PC and when they may be dropping?
Yeah, okay. So community servers. Of course, there's going to be some differences with what PC has because to start with, PC allows you to have modified content in community servers, right?
Yeah.
There's people who create awesome maps, like unique maps, and they create it from the ground up and just go with that. You have completely different modes, things that that are just out of this world. And yeah, unfortunately, consoles we don't really have a way to do that to like have players upload their own mods. But our goal is to give as much player freedom as possible for community servers, so people can just you know um, do whatever game modes they want and can imagine within our limitations, of course. But yeah, that's the whole deal. We have a dev blog coming fairly soon,
Yeah.
and in that dev blog, we'll show a little bit more of the UI for the community servers. And I'm fairly certain that that UI has some like hints, and it will show actually what players can play with when they're like creating a special server for themselves.
All right.
Um,
Fair
yeah.
enough. So one question I had about the UI, and the dev blog might go over all this. And for those of you listening to, I'm not sure if the dev blogs come out like before or after whenever this video is released or whenever you're watching. So maybe you already know this, but what exactly are players going to be able to access sort of the moderation tools for servers from the PC? Is this all going to be very like console specific? How is that going to work? Are you going to be able to add people as moderators? And is there any more details you can give on all of that? Or is that something that's being kept sort of tight-lipped?
Yeah, there's some more that I can share on that, I believe. So our plans is for people to have full control of their own server, right? So
Yeah.
like let's say that you plan to run like or run a very like complex type of server. A good example would be a solo or duo trio type of server where it requires a lot of moderation, right?
Yeah.
You need to act on players who are like teaming up, and they will do that. So there needs to be rules, and there needs to be people like looking out for those. So we do plan to have like moderation tools for the server owners, and we do plan to have like a role system type of thing where like people can just go, hey Cyril, now you're like the moderator of this server as well, and you can like act on it and or report it to me, and I'll like do the banning. Like it depends on how you personally want to do it. But we plan to have tools like that, yes, in place.
Okay, that makes sense. And I guess along the same lines, now I want to dive into electricity because I think when Rust console launched, those were the two things that were originally going to be coming with it: community servers and electricity, at least within the first couple of months. Obviously, it's been a while. So, I know you're going to update this, I think, in the dev blog, but where's everything stand with electricity? Is that something that we're likely going to be seeing on? It seems like on the dev blog, you're going to talk about it coming to staging. But when do you foresee this coming out to, I guess, staging and then the main branch? And what can we expect from electricity? Is there going to be things removed just to keep sort of the hardware load down? Or is this going to be like the full electricity that you get on the PC?
So great question. Electricity will come. Like we mentioned in the last dev blog, it will come at the end of November. And I can actually share a date with you because it's going to be part of the dev log. So it's
All
going to
right.
be on the 24th, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and
Thanksgiving.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, we're going to have like as much as possible from the PC version of electricity, which is almost everything, excluding like from the top of my head. I know that anything that it's connected to like the Rust Plus app, that's not going to be part of it. At least we don't have any plans for it at the moment. And there's like a couple more items that we really thought were not like essential to make electricity a thing on console, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
there's going to be some differences, but it's going to be very minor because we once again we're trying to like bring as much as possible from the PC version, right? So yeah, that's our
No,
objective,
that
our
makes
goal.
sense, and I think I can say definitely I'm very glad that it's not going to include the Rust Plus app. That it makes the game quite a bit sweatier than it already is, and that's
Yeah,
I don't know. For me, it gets to be too much when you've got your phone alerting you that like something's going wrong and all that. I'd rather just log in and find my base rated than get notifications telling me as someone goes through each door. But yeah, that I guess that gives us something to give thanks for on Thanksgiving, or at least those of us who are American. But
yeah.
go ahead.
Like yeah, regarding the Rust app, like Rust is life, man. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's some people that like there's some people that get really into it. I had my moments when I first discovered it. I originally started playing on PC, so when I first found it, I was probably going a little too hard. Now I've got a better balance. Anyways,
Yeah,
though,
that's good.
uh,
It's always good to have more of a balanced life between Rust and real life, I guess.
yeah, no, that's what I always try to do. I'm not one of those people. There's some people that have like thousands of hours already on the console version of Rust. I know you
Yeah,
probably
we have
can't.
some amazing players. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Amazing is one word for them. But no, I mean it always blows my mind. But yeah, I don't know. I get bored. I'd go to a different game and then come back to Rust. But to each their own, and those players are much much better than me. Anyways,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So one other question I had, just this is sort of going back to community servers. So
Yeah, go
D11, I
ahead.
know obviously you've got like modified servers. You've tried 2x and 4x servers on the staging branch. Is there any way or is there any reason, I guess, that those haven't come to the main branch? Because some of the stuff that people want, they want like a 2x or 4x server, or maybe a server where you've got like teams disabled or something like that. Is that something that we could see sort of coming to the main branch as a bit of a stopgap between now and whenever community servers launch?
So yeah, funny enough, that's also one of the points that we're going to mention in this dev block, and we've been discussing it quite a bit. So you probably heard about the event servers. I think we
Yeah,
mentioned it
yeah,
in the last two dev blocks,
yeah,
and that's our iteration of those types of servers coming to the main branch, right?
yeah,
Here's the thing, like the main branch is supposed to be like the polished, more like less experimental
yeah, yeah.
side of the
Of
game, while the
course.
staging branch, yeah, it's where we make the test and like everything goes wild. So for us, it was always like, let's test those servers, let's see how people react to them, like the target practice servers, the builder paradise servers. Let's just put them out there, like get some feedback on them, because like our iteration probably needs some changes. So let's get some feedback, let's see how they perform, and we'll go from there, right? So we started by doing that like a very long time ago, probably uh, like a year or more ago, since the
Yeah, I
release of the
remember when
staging
those like
branch. We
yeah,
Yeah.
when those dropped, that was like amazing for people with staging branch access. I remember that.
Exactly. So like since then we've been testing and we've been tweaking things. Yeah, we had like 2 time servers, four
Hmm.
time servers at some point, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but all of those have like there's some sort of like impact on like the game itself and performance, and we don't feel it's like valid, at least for now, to bring them just like that to the main branch. So our concept is going to be this type of event servers, which we're going to start with the target practice ones, right?
yeah, yeah,
Um, and it's going to be kind of like some sort of like a rotation system. So let's say like for now, players will have target practice for a couple of months, right? They can enjoy it. Some of those servers will be on the main branch, and people can like use them to like warm up their aim, have a smaller like gameplay session type of thing, or if they just really want to like train their recall, they can do that. And then a couple of months from now, we'll switch it for some sort of like other event server. It can be the building the building one. It can be like a no team type of thing, so the
Yeah,
idea is
yeah.
to like rotate between events,
So I guess then the
to keep
question would be,
things
why
fresh.
not just do a few of them all at once? Like, why not have a server that is PvP and a server that is building and a server that is no team just out all at once? Is there any specific reason that there being more sort of like events? I know traditionally this isn't something that Face Punch does.
Yeah, we operate a little bit like differently when it comes to Face Punch in that regard,
Yeah,
because they do have community servers. So literally, it's up to the community to create whatever they like and what they want. Um, our our thing is like we don't want to take away too much from the core Rust experience, right? The whole like
yeah,
just the monthly wipe type of thing, which is like that how Rust was created to be played. Um, so
gotcha.
that's our like main focus, right? And everything that we introduce, it has to somewhat complement that experience in some way. At the same time, like we don't want to have like a bunch of like different game modes where people just completely spread around and then like like things don't work as intended. So it's very like we want to keep our focus on the main game and on the main Rust experience, and then have the event servers as like type of off the ground experimental thing, which is not so experimental anymore because we already did a bunch of tests in it. And yeah, just offer it as a complement to the main experience itself, and not as the replacement type of thing. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, no, that makes perfect
Yeah.
sense. Because yeah, I mean that's something I think everybody worries about, right? You jump into a server, build your base, and then all of a sudden the server's dead, and you're sitting there with nothing to do. So I can see that would
Yeah.
be a big worry. So yeah, I guess along those lines too, when it comes to servers and population, everything like that, when do you think, or do you think we're gonna get bigger maps and higher population servers? Because I know that's one thing that a lot of people, some people are getting raided too often. They want a bigger map so they can sort of find some sort of like little area to sort of like hold down, and then some people just want these like massive combats. Is that something
Yeah.
that's yeah?
To be honest, at the moment, there's no discussions about like going big in terms
Okay,
of player numbers or map sizes. And like part of it, it's all because it's connected to performance, right?
yeah, yeah,
So think of it like this: as performance improves, right, we can then naturally, without too much worry, try and expand the maps. And if it all goes well, then there will be no issue, right?
yeah.
But at the same time, like we operate under certain limitations because of the hardware that we work with. So yeah, we just like we need to be mindful of those. And as much as we would like to like just give everything that the players want, especially when it comes to like server sizes and player sizes in just the server itself, like it's a little bit tricky, and we need to make sure that that doesn't completely like ruins the experience, right? So our focus is like, let's keep it balanced for now. Let's keep working on performance, keep doing our thing, improve stability and performance, and like release content that the players want to see. And eventually, you will get to a point where, hey, maybe it's like we can bump the server numbers a little bit
Yeah.
and go from 3K to 3.5 or even 4. Sometime. So yeah, like it can happen. It's not being discussed at the moment, but it can happen. And if that discussion happens, I think the transition between us implementing it and it being live in game should be fairly short, because it's one of those things that, you know, um, it doesn't really sound like something that we need to really focus on, if that makes
Yeah,
sense,
yeah. No,
or
if the
spend a lot of time
performance
on
is there,
to make happen. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, yeah. If the performance is there, I'm
Um,
guessing you just bump an integer up, and you're pretty much set. That
yeah,
that makes
correct.
sense. And I guess along the same lines, like with vehicles, horses, mini copters, everything like that, is that something that we could expect, or is that something that's also not being talked about? Because I know with the smaller maps, adding some of that could throw the balance off.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things, right? So on the 3K map is debatable if you really need like a vehicle to move around.
Yeah,
Mini copters are a completely different story because they're just built in a way where like it kind of like expands the game. Like you can, for example, take a completely different approach to the oil rig or the cargo ship if you have a mini copter.
It completely changes
It's
rating. I
yeah,
mean, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's huge.
It changes rating. Yeah, it changes a lot of the aspects from the game. Like you can literally just go on top of them, get the crates, and go out if you like.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, there's a whole different aspect to it. Um, Also, they're very like, from what I know, very complicated to support because of how they operate.
Yeah, and there's a whole
Uh,
like cornucopia of bugs that'll come with it, I'm sure, because I know
yeah,
it wasn't.
it's more
Yeah,
when I say it's complicated, it's more to do with like performance.
yeah, okay, that makes sense too. Yeah, because I know
Um,
even on PC you've got those rendering issues where sometimes you'll be in a minicopter and just a clan base pops up right in front of you and you crash, and
yeah,
that's on a
sometimes it
PC.
happens.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah.
can, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, like other like vehicles, people have been asking for horses quite a lot, and we might have some news on this latest blog posts about it, and the updates coming.
All right, that's exciting. That's exciting. I mean, I guess horses are already in game; they're just not rideable yet.
Yeah, they're just not rideable. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Like they will be someday, and of course we want to like offer that to the players because it's been highly requested. So yeah, we want to do it.
all right, fair enough. That's exciting. I mean, that's something I'm looking forward to because I know just every now and then I want to get in the game, run a quick monument or something like that, and launch is just 30 minutes from my base, or maybe not 30 minutes, but you know what I'm saying. It's too far. So yeah,
Yeah,
horses will be that'll be a nice
you
one.
only had a horse.
Yeah, exactly. I guess now just to switch gears a little bit, Christmas is coming. I
Sure.
think everybody knows that. So Christmas lights, is there any chance that we're gonna get them this year?
Um,
Can I have a
Christmas
Christmas
night.
village?
Christmas lights will not be part of it,
Okay.
unfortunately, but we will have a Christmas event. Um, and man, you can decorate your own Christmas tree, which is
Okay.
also pretty good. So,
Okay. So there's going to be like a
uh,
Christmas tree then in the Christmas event, right?
yeah,
Okay.
and you can like pick up gifts and like decorate
Okay. That's pretty
stuff.
cool. That's pretty
So
cool.
it's nice. But yeah, the Christmas lights will not be there as an item for players to like, use as a decoration type of thing. So yeah, just
Um, it's fair enough. I know because on the
you know,
PC they've got them as that like skin that you can buy, and now it's ridiculously expensive. So I was wondering if that was going to come, but
yeah.
I can see that
Yeah.
being a little bit taxing on graphics cards and servers and everything like
Mm.
that. So that's fair.
I honestly don't know, but it probably is. Yeah,
Yeah.
programmers would probably agree with you.
Yeah, I think at least. I mean, I'm not a programmer that does anything to do with video games, so I could be way off on this, but just in my simpleton mind, it seems like it could be. Anyways,
Yeah.
on skins too. What about like Twitch skins? I know Rust PC has 1,000,001 Twitch events that are going on. It seems like every other week, basically. They've got charity events,
Hmm.
charity skins, everything like that. Is that something that we could eventually see on the console version of Rust? Are there like limitations due to, I don't know, Xbox, PlayStation, all those stores, and sort of how all that works?
Um, we had some talks internally about it already, but it's fairly recent. Skins, it's like we have a system for it at the moment, but it's definitely like not our highest priority since like there's new content and other things that come to the game, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
they're our main focus. But I would love to like personally have like Twitch drops in some sort of like form, even if it was like, I don't know, matching the PC in some sort of way.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, charity skins also sound like a really awesome idea. So yeah, like we're up for like discussing it, but um, at the moment we have nothing concrete for them just yet.
All right, fair enough. Like I've said, I'm always down to throw the Serial Overdrive name behind a charity skin if that would get people to buy it or whatever. But I guess along the same lines, signs, that's another thing that is, I guess that's not along the same lines, but just regarding signs, will those ever be a thing? I know right now I've got this Serial Overdrive, like Village Island, and being able to label people's
Yeah.
houses or just point in certain directions would be nice. I believe this can't be a thing because of limitations that are set by various platforms that the game's on and stuff like that. But I've got to ask.
Sure, yeah, no, that's totally okay. Signs would be nice, but everything that it's to do with player generated content it's very complicated to work with and to deal with on the platforms that we operate, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not the same as PC where it's just like an open market and you can like do whatever you want and that's it. Um, as much as we would love to give that freedom, we also like know that it's not possible because although majority of the community would not use it with a bad intention, there's always the people who would. So um,
Yeah. You're not
we
wrong
just
about that.
yeah. So an iteration like PC where you have like signs and you can just do whatever you want on them and yeah, just put them on whatever you want. Like that's probably not going to exist. Maybe some other iterations in the future, but yeah, I don't think that's even being discussed at the moment.
All right, no, that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of like Warzone 2 now, just because it just came out, and that proximity chat can get quite interesting, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
So,
I
I
saw
c-
some clips.
yeah, I can imagine signs aren't gonna be any better than that. All right. So another question I had now, switching over to monuments and stuff like that. Are there monuments that we can expect to see in the next year? Are there monuments that we can definitely not expect to see? Because I know there's things like underwater labs. You've got subways, you've got trains, all sorts of crazy stuff on the PC version Rust. And to
Yep.
me, like adding submarines and trains and subway systems, I think that's something we definitely won't see in the next year. But when you're talking about something like military tunnels or something like that, that feels a little bit more viable to me. Is there anything you can like confirm or deny in this area?
I mean, power plant is definitely going to be there with electricity.
Okay.
Um, so I think that that monument will make it to the game for sure. As for any other monuments, I don't really like to like confirm stuff because plans change all the time and things might change.
That's
But
probably a good call given electricity, I guess.
yeah, but our plan is to like port as much as possible, right, from the PC version.
Yeah.
There's stuff that we didn't even touch yet, so we don't know how complex that would be. So yeah, like nothing is off the table as of now. Uh, I'm saying this with like 90% certainty.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I cannot like really tell you
Oh,
what
okay.
monuments are going to be part of it, because honestly, like that's not my department, and I don't know.
All right, no, that's fair enough. I know when I saw like cargo come out, I was surprised by that because I figured like a moving ship, all those different parts. I thought that would be a monument that would be like years away, and then when it comes out right
Yeah,
after oil, I was just like, "That's the one you went with, not military tunnels or something that to me felt like it
we're,
would be easier." So that was,
we were very proud of
yeah,
bringing the cargo ship.
that was an ambitious one. That was an ambitious one. It caught me off guard because I was just like, "That's someone builds a base out there, the ship hits it. How's it react to that?" There's a lot more that can happen with that than like a monument that just sits there.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
hats off to you guys for that one for sure. I guess the other question I had with monuments, do does the console version of Rust have the rights to create like console specific monuments or features, or is that something like how closely? Obviously, it's easier for you to follow the PC Rust code, the face punch
Yeah.
code, but like how far from the game can you stray? Is there any limit to it? I don't know if that's something you can share. If there's some sort of
Um,
agreements
I
around not
can give you
sharing
my
that.
personal opinion on it.
Yeah,
I don't think we have any like. I think we could possibly create our own monuments or contents,
yeah,
but like there's so much like good work out there for Rust, right? That we already like we didn't even port it yet, and it would be kind of like unfair to the players because it's already been proven that it works, right, and
yeah,
that they
yeah,
like it. So us working on something new could, I don't know, sometimes sound a little bit off to the community. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. It's just like at the moment there's no plans for it.
yeah. Fair
Like create
enough.
something new. We already have the skins though. Like the skins are our designs and
Yeah,
they don't match the PC version. We also have our own iteration of like some of the event servers and stuff. So it's
true,
just
true.
we do have our unique touch in it. It's like when it comes to like extra content, yeah, I'm not sure if that's a thing that it's going to happen anytime soon.
All right, fair
Probably
enough.
not.
I know that. I mean, that makes sense. Like for the most part, I think people are happy with the way that the PC version of Rust has gone. I know there's a few Rust content creators, like main Rust, like PC Rust, that are complaining about it right now. So they might be switching over to console sometime in the future, depending on how things go. But it seems
Yeah.
like for the most part, everybody's happy with it. So I can't see any reason to deviate from that. I was just curious about that one.
Yeah, that's totally valid.
Yeah, but I guess the next question I've got too. This is regarding mouse and keyboard cheaters, everything like that. So obviously on PC, you've got a huge problem with that. On the consoles, I feel like there's not as much of a aimbot problem, but there's definitely a lot of people using mouse and keyboard. Is there anything in the works to catch them? I know this is something that literally every game has trouble with, so I don't expect. I mean, if D11 could come out with some system that was perfect, you guys would be in the business of selling that system to everybody, I think. But
Yeah.
are there any plans to try and do something about it?
So we do take action
Yeah.
against stuff like that when we have like enough evidence and proof that a player is using some sort of like third-party device or promoting it. We do take action because that's totally against our code of conduct.
Yeah.
Thing is, um, we get a lot of like false reports as well, right? Because
Yeah.
like you said, aimbot is not so much of a problem. I can literally tell you like it's not a problem at all because it doesn't exist on consoles.
Yeah.
You cannot
Exactly.
inject packs. So aimbots, see-through walls, all
Yeah.
the,
None of that
the
can
the
exist on
reports that
console.
we
It's
get,
just impossible.
that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
The best you can do is like have some better control on the recoil, and like with the use of third-party devices or use mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
And since those are like external devices, as much as we would like to like work on a system to like just detect the software and do something about it, there's no software, so we cannot do it.
All right. That's
Right.
fair enough. Yeah.
But we are taking measures. Just want to like take the opportunity to reiterate that most of the reports that we got, like a lot of them are like fake reports. It's just one of those things where you die to someone and you're like, yeah, this guy is definitely cheating, when it's probably just either got lucky or it was a very good shot or he's just like more skilled than you. It's just the way it is. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that a player is cheating when that happens. But yeah, we take the reports, we look at it. It's just
No, that makes
very
sense.
tricky when it comes to stuff like that. Like you mentioned, Fortnite is also dealing with it, and Rainbow Six Siege and Apex Legends. All of those games have issues with the same devices that we do. But it's something that the platforms need to take action against because
Yeah.
it's almost impossible for the game developers to do something about it.
No, I mean that makes sense. I think with the mouse and keyboard, it's I mean that's a hard one to detect. Like I said, I guess if you could figure that problem out, you'd have a whole
Yeah.
nother part of D11 that was making a lot more money, or a lot of money, I guess I should say, just selling that, because I could see Fortnite, Rainbow Six, Call of Duty, every billion-dollar,
Yeah.
$100 million game out there would be buying that system. So fair
Yeah,
enough.
they're also trying their own things, but I don't think like so far they like cracked the code and came up with something that really like puts an end to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it will come a day when that happens for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm sure algorithmically there's something where you could analyze and figure out like there's some sort of move that players couldn't do unless they're the top like
Yeah,
99.9. Yeah, I'm sure there's stuff like that, but that takes a lot of work to do, and
it does.
yeah.
It's just hard to find. But on the bright side, like I think PlayStation 5 is already taking action.
Oh,
Where
that's
like
good.
you cannot, yeah, like if you're playing a PlayStation 5 game online, you cannot use those devices anymore. They simply don't work, and
Oh
that's it.
wow, that's
Um,
really good news.
yeah, I'm not sure if this is still true because it happened a couple of months ago. So maybe they have a workaround for it, which I doubt. But um, I know that was happening. So yeah, it's a positive.
All right, fair enough. Fair
Good thing.
enough. I guess then the next question I've got is, is there anything that's being done to fix lag? And then one of the things I'm so bad at the game, I can't even complain about invalids most of the time. I feel like I'm just missing anyways. But a lot of people have complained about invalids. Is there anything being done to fix that? So like one of the things that I think some games do is they'll introduce fog or something like that. So like right now we've got this Rust console village. Too many buildings are there. A lot of people with PS4s or Xbox Ones, they just log in and crash. Is there some sort of thought, or there's some sort of work in progress of like a system that might just dump fog onto the map so people just had a lower visibility and they wouldn't crash as much? Is there anything being done to sort of work on the net code and fix invalids, or is this a lot of this just players having bad Wi-Fi and blaming you guys?
There's both. Actually, like in regards to the fog, I'm not completely sure. That's a very good call. And I think that's probably an option that we can explore if we didn't yet, because maybe we did and I
Yeah,
just don't know of it.
I'm probably diving
Um,
like too technical into it, I guess.
yeah, but I don't know honestly about it. I'll pass it to the team and see what they think. They probably already consider it though.
Oh, I'm
It
sure.
probably already happened.
I'm sure. I
uh,
think at one point I was seeing like fog coming into the map, and I'm like, did they introduce this like sneakily? Is some sort of like A/B test that they're doing? But I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe it
yeah,
wasn't.
we'll
Uh,
see. We'll see in the future.
Fair enough.
As for the invalids, yeah, like there's work being done in the last staging branch update that we released a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
We did had some sort of like a fix for the invalid shots, which it's showing positive results, meaning that if they are happening much less than they were before. At the same time, it's what you mentioned. Like some people just like to play on a completely different region and then complain about the lag because I don't know, it's a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like they just like to play with high latency, and that affects the gameplay. That
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
cause invalids probably, because yeah, you're probably not seeing things in real time as much as you think you are. So just always be sure like you're in the right server, or at least to one that it's somewhat closer to you, and pay attention to the ping that you have, because that has a huge impact when it comes to that sort of stuff. But yeah, we're working on invalids, and yeah, hopefully once this fix makes it to the main branch, players will be able to see a lot less of them, which
Hopefully.
is going to be fun. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm excited
That's.
for that.
I guess I get a lot of complaints from people on the videos. So invalids are one that I see a lot. It's
Yeah,
not
they're definitely
something
one of the big ones.
like I run into it here and there, but it doesn't feel like game breaking to me. So I'm not sure if people just need to plug an Ethernet cord into their system or what's going on there. But yeah, you're right. There's a
Yeah,
ton of different causes, and hopefully you
it's my
fixed.
best advice.
Yeah,
Like yeah, like having an Ethernet cable connected to your console, you can at least have some sort of like stability to your connection.
yeah, yeah,
Um, if you're just like playing with Wi-Fi, like it's like you're throwing a dice almost.
yeah.
Like
No, that's not
yeah,
recommended.
yeah, like connection can be really good in one minute and really bad at the other, and it's just the way it is. Sometimes a couple of seconds is all you need
Yeah.
for you to feel a like spike. And if you happen to be like shooting during that time, then yeah, probably invalids.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. And people are gonna say like other games handle it differently or other games are better, and each game has different net code. One thing I will
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
you don't need to comment on this, but I know the code for Rust is not the best code in my opinion. Like Facepunch started the company way long ago. D11's working with that code. I'm sure net code and some of this stuff hasn't been touched, so probably a lot of that might have quality issues. Again, you don't need to comment on that because I know it would be
not saying a
very.
word.
Hmm? Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
saying a word.
yeah. Yeah, but I'm you guys have done a great job moving it over to
Thank you,
systems
appreciate it.
like the Xbox One and the PS4. Like I tell people, I'm critical of what's been given to players and what players have bought, but at the same time I do recognize the technical excellence that was achieved in bringing the product that people have to systems that are almost 10 years old. I mean, that's like 10 years ago. That would be like bringing, like when Rust came out, bringing it to the Nintendo 64 or the GameCube or something crazy like that, which, that's, yeah, it's a feat,
Yeah,
that's for sure.
it was challenging. Like Rust is a like very complex and amazing game,
Yeah.
but that like also has the upside of like it's very resource heavy, and the
Yep.
challenge was like how do we make this I say we, but technically it was the development team. I just do communications.
Nah, fair enough.
Um, but yeah, it's like how do we make this work on a console? You
Yeah,
know,
because like
like
the
you said,
Unity engine,
the
it's
hardware
not.
optimizations.
Yeah, because like the Unity engine isn't like an engine that's known for being extremely like resource like friendly. It's
Yeah,
not a well optimized engine. It's a very good engine to develop on if you're looking to get stuff out quickly. But I guess I won't dive too much into technicalities because people
no, it's
probably
fine.
don't care. Um, but yeah, to me, it's like I can respect the technical excellence, but at the same time critique some of the stuff that people were expecting and didn't get because I realize it's like that's something that's like a long shot, but it's a problem that developers have, right? You give a projection or
Yep,
someone asks me a question, like at work, people ask me a question like, can we do this? And I'm like, yeah, of course we can do this. And then off they go to tell them that this is going to get done. And in my head, I'm like, well, I said we can. I didn't say how long it would take. But
exactly.
anyways, another question I've got just overall,
Yep.
whatever you can share, what's next for Rust and D11? Are there plans to? I think the team behind Rust has sort of stayed the same. Like you're not losing people, you're not putting new people onto the team. Are there plans to sort of expand the team? Is D11 moving into other projects? I know you guys have RimWorld now, I believe it is.
Yeah,
Um,
we have a couple of projects, even outside of Rust and RimWorld. And it's like the most that I can tell you from my own knowledge is like there's different teams working in different projects. There's no like crossover. As far as
yeah,
with the projects that I work with. And yeah, like at the moment we're confident in the team that we have. If we need to expand, we will do it. But yeah, it's like that's all that I can tell you about about that.
fair
To
enough,
be
fair
honest,
enough.
yeah,
Yeah, I know
that's just
sometimes.
we plan to keep going on Rust if that's what you're asking.
Okay, I mean that's always good to hear. I assumed that the game was doing good enough that would keep going because I've looked on like
Yeah,
the charts and stuff, and it seems like for PlayStation, for Xbox, it's a top like I think at least top 25 game. Some of these charts say it's a top 10 game on PlayStation. I don't know how accurate all that stuff is, but it's a very popular game, and if a game that's that popular can't succeed, I mean, what game could? And the players are super dedicated, so I can't imagine. I can imagine there's a lot of people buying a lot of skins.
yeah,
Um,
we have a lot of like our community is very dedicated and
yeah,
passionate about the game, and that's definitely something that shows. Uh, so yeah, like yeah, totally agree with you. I'm thankful for the community that we have because they do show a lot of support for the game. It's awesome.
yeah. I know it's crazy. Like I've spent hundreds on skins. I think that's a lot, but for me, it's like a business expense. Whatever, you can write it off on your taxes technically. But yeah, then I run into people that have literally every skin, and I'm just like, man, how do you like? They'll talk about having their friend buy them
Yeah,
the skin when they're on vacation. I'm like, that is like next
it's
level
hardcore, man.
dedication. Yeah,
Hardcore. Yeah,
it's crazy when you see that. Yeah, super dedicated people, which is awesome. And
yeah, I love it.
on that note, like last question, with your team, everything like that, there's been a lot of cool stuff that's come out just from the Rust community and everything like that.
Yep.
Is there anything or any few things that surprised you the most? Are there any like cool community events or just choices that players have made that have really like surprised you or blown the team away? I guess this is just asking like your favorite moments
Yeah.
from the community through the last year and a half that the game's been out.
We had this awesome event in the beta where we like created a maze, and I don't know if you were even covering Rust back then,
I was
but
covering it, but just I was doing like one video every now and then. It was
yeah.
very minor coverage. I didn't even make the beta. I take vacation a lot. I was on vacation.
Yeah, so this was right as we started playing the betas, or like having the betas available for the players. And our Discord mods, they did like a maze sort of like map, and
Yeah.
they put a lot of like traps and stuff in it, and then we like let the community in, and we made like a small contest with it. That was awesome to see, honestly. Like just being in there and listening to what like people were saying and trying to help each other to make it to the end of the maze. That was fantastic.
Oh, that's really
So
cool.
that's definitely a highlight in my opinion. Other than that, I'm really a big fan of like any um, fan content. So like fan arts, uh, videos that you guys create, because I also see that as content, like fan content, and it's just amazing. I watch every video that I can, even like longer ones. I
We
still
got
try
some
to like
long ones out there, yeah.
yeah. I try to watch as much as I can, and like keep in line with what you guys are saying. But like there's also some people that make like awesome like cosplays and 3D models for like the items in Rust but in real life. And
Yeah,
I
I've
think
seen
those
some
are
of
just like
those.
awesome. Yeah, I think I shared one of them on Twitter for
Yeah.
like the Python and the AK, and they're really, really cool. It's like there's a lot of talent goes into it, and I really like to see those like props coming to life. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it
So yeah,
is crazy
that's
to
my
see
favorite
that
moment.
stuff. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. Don't worry.
But yeah, it's crazy to see that stuff. But yeah, I think that's all I've got. But yeah, I ran a lot longer than I said I'd go. It's 40 minutes in, so I really do
Don't worry.
appreciate you taking the time for this.
Yeah, it's
Um,
totally okay.
all right, cool. But yeah, thank you so much for this. It was great to get that information. I'm sure the people in the community are gonna love to hear all of this, and I think
Yeah, I
overall,
hope
like
so.
it seems like everything's positive, and I've got to appreciate the fact that you're not saying anything's going to be coming out in the next 2 weeks or anything like that. I don't think this is like electricity, so it is good to see. And I know it takes a while to sort of get your feet under you when you're making a game like this or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Get used
and
to the code
personally,
base.
like I learned a lot from my years working on Rust,
Yeah,
and working for Rust and working with the community. So like committing to things, it's something that we always do very carefully now because yeah, plans change. It's just the way it is.
yeah.
And we do want to please everyone and bring everything that the community wants and that the players want to see, but be a little bit more patient because we're working on it and things will come. It's just requires time.
That's good to hear. And it sounds like D11 and you guys are willing to give Rust all the time it needs to develop and grow, and that's
Yeah,
always good to
we're
see
not
too.
not a rush.
It's good to see that the company's actually behind the game, and we're not going to have a Anthem type situation here.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to end it here though, but thank you so much for this. Is there anything like, I mean, obviously the console version of Rust, if you're here and you don't own that game, that's, buy it. But is there anything that you wanted to like shout out, any socials? Do you want to tell people like go to the Discord, go to your Twitter, anything else that I missed?
I mean, Twitter is kind of like I don't know if there's any point in telling people together because
True,
kind of
you
dying
guys are
at the moment.
huge. You guys are huge on Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, I guess yeah, Twitter. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. But you guys have a huge
Yeah.
Twitter account too, right?
It's doing very well.
Yeah,
Very happy with the results on there. So
I've
yeah,
got.
like, sorry,
I've,
go ahead.
I was gonna say I've got like 190 followers on Twitter. I've shouted it out a couple times. Like nobody ever goes there. I don't know how you guys managed to build like it's huge. I think you guys almost have like. Do you have 100,000 on Twitter now?
153,000, I
Jesus,
believe.
that's Elon
Yeah,
Musk should
it's
get in contact with you guys. That's impressive.
uh, yeah, that would be a good call, I guess. Uh,
Yeah, he
but
can
yeah, our
interview you
reach is
after me. I
verified.
mean, me and
Uh,
him.
God, man, that would be hilarious.
And
Um, but yeah, I have no. I was trying to think of any like socials. Just like if you want to keep up with the latest information, like be sure to check our website because that's where we share our dev blogs, and that's normally where um, the biggest announcements come from. So just be sure to check that. We'll have one very soon if it was not released yet, depending on when this video is going live. And it has a bunch of like good information in it, so be sure to give it a read if you have the time. And yeah, feel free to join our Discord and be part of the community, or just follow us on Twitter for how long it lasts, I guess.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And you can always listen to me read off the dev blogs in a fairly monotone voice. But thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Until next time, peace.